I must start first by saying that when he took over, the economy was in shambles. Buhari really did a bad job. For 8 years, Buhari took us 100 years back. For TINUBU, I personally, it's my opinion, he's just marking time. He's marking time. We've not moved anywhere. Nigeria is floating. That's the truth. Nigeria is floating. You talk in the papers, or you write in the papers, or your ministers, they come and say, oh, especially Edu and Kadusu, they come and tell you, oh, the Naira is gaining this, that, the economy is the fourth fastest growing economy in the world. It's all paper. You don't see it on the ground. There is pain, there is hunger. There's no productivity, that's the word. One of the indices I would use to, here in Lagos, that I would use to score this administration a pass mark is when I go to Wharf, and I go to Ijora, and I go to the Oshodi-Apapa Expressway, and Ilupeju. Those are industrial estates where you have the industries. I grew up in Lagos. I knew what those places stood for. They stood for, where people are gainfully employed, they earn a living and all that. If you go there, those places are being taken over by churches, event centers, hoodlums. Nothing is happening. Nothing is happening. So economically, the government has been rash in taking steps. For instance, the removal of subsidy. Which other one again?
The floating of the
Naira. TINUBU just treats Nigerians like patients, operating on them without aesthetics, without giving them injection without giving them pain relieving injections. You just bring them to the theater and butcher them and say, oh, stitch them up and say, oh, fine, you're looking good. Okay, move, jump. Let's see whether you're okay. We've done well. He's too rash. He's not taking it step by step. He's not real. That's the truth. He's not real. So I will not score this government any pass mark in terms of economic gain. I will not deceive anybody, and I will not deceive myself especially. Nigeria is not doing well. We are pretending until one day we will just wake up and see that we will collapse. There's nothing happening. The government is not doing anything. And what pains me most is that the government put people around him who don't tell him what is really happening, like the Boalas, like the Keyamos, like the Edu, Kadosu, all these propagandists. People, they just start telling you every time. In fact, the only reason why anybody will remain in the cabinet of TINUBU is when you can tell lies, when you can come to the public, keep a straight face and tell lies and say, oh, we are doing well. Every time the government is doing well, only on paper. We are not seeing anything on the ground.
They may be uncomfortable with you referring them to propagandists because they say they are doing their job in representing the government. But where my follow-up will be, but they are putting out, they said, the argument is to the effect that before it gets to the micro level, where it is you and I feeling better, is they say it has to start from that macro level, setting the reset of the economy. I'm putting out the argument of the government so that you can respond. So, okay, they came in, the FX, for instance, there were backlogs in terms of payment, and then if you look at all the subsidies that were supposed to be paid, from 6 in PMS, I think another 2 in electricity, and then there were a couple of backlogs. Everything came to about 21 trillion in that sense, and if you add the deficit, so the numbers are good, were not good. So they said if the TINUBU administration did not do what it did, the economy would have tanked by now, so they had to do a hard reset in that sense. So we should be patient that this is a temporary gain for a future gain, temporary pain rather for future gain. Does this argument and this narrative, does it make sense to you?
That's sweet nothing. You know, they like too much grammar. They want to confuse us. Look, if whether macro or micro, by now 2 years it will have been trickling down. You see, what pains me most is that they are not prudent. They are not prudent. An economy that is bleeding, you spend millions, several millions of naira to renovate the residence of the vice president. You spend several millions or billions of naira to refurbish the conference center. Who is going to conference center? Look at Akpabio's recent visit. You may say the money is small. It's not small. A five-man delegate. Something that Akpabio could have gone alone. You have ambassadors around Europe there. You have Nigerian community. If he needs support, when he lands Rome, he can invite one or two ambassadors around that area, or even Nigerian dignitaries in Rome that will accompany them. Tell me how much we have saved. I dare Akpabio, you should tell us how much was the federal government should tell us how much Akpabio spent on that trip. So they are not showing signs of people who really feel our pain. They are not showing signs of that they are doing anything. They are not honest. All they are interested in. They are talking about just power. They are already talking about 2027. I mean, election to come back to power when they have not even shown any sign of growing the economy or even stabilizing the economy. They have not shown any sign. So whatever they are telling you, macro, 2 years is enough for us to see the gains. 2 years is enough for us to start feeling it. Price of foods is going. The other day, I went to a fast food outlet. I discovered that I couldn't finish my meal, and I now paid for a pack, took it to the office. And when I was going home, because I'm not trained to waste food. I want to take it home, but there was vegetable inside it. I want to take it home, but unfortunately I forgot it on my table. I asked the next morning, I now called my secretary and said, but when I came back, I said, I hope you didn't eat that food because it must have become spoiled by that time you came. She said no, that she wanted to dispose it and somebody just grabbed it from her and started eating it. I felt so touched. I'm not saying even in America people don't eat from the dustbin or whatever, but it's not common in Nigeria. Growing up in Nigeria, it's not common. Everybody had enough. Everybody, the cleaner had enough. The policeman had enough. The Nigeria I grew up in, the lawyer, everybody had enough. Now people have nothing. People now feeding from dustbin, feeding life.
We hope parties. Let's look at the impact of that. Talk to us about the impact of that on policy and governance, with the APC dominating and with the possibility of more defections to the APC, and especially against the backdrop of the case of Atiku against the Attorney General of the Federation, which now applies to legislators at the federal level, that sort of gives them the go-ahead to defect as against legislators at the State Assembly. Does that precedent, is it appropriate in the light of the current circumstances where we may be having a challenge of having a Senate that dominates, the ruling party dominating the National Assembly?
Well, talking about this mass defection from other parties, particularly PDP and Labour Party, to APC. Well, legally speaking, on the normal level, governors or lawmakers are permitted to defect from their party to other parties, but there must be good reasons why. Now, why are the question you ask? Why are they defecting from their party to APC? Is it based on ideology? Is it based on principle? Is it based on that the government is doing well? Is it based on the interest of the people who gave them the mandate? When you look at all these things, you discover that the basic reason why they are defecting is fear. Most of these governors, like my state governor, Delta State, they moved massively or en masse to PDP, APC about 2-3 days ago. I can tell you, I'm from that state, that it's not in the best interest, not for the interest of Deltans, it's for the interest of politicians who are trying to conceal their loots, who are afraid of prosecution. This government has failed in terms of their fight against corruption. And for them to gain public trust, corruption must be tackled. And this government is corrupt. I mean, there are a lot of corrupt people there. There are, or will I say, people who have allegedly, defrauded their state. Akpabio is one of them.
Allegedly?
Allegedly, I said allegedly, yes. You know, many of them. So they have not been able to follow. So these people are coming, even Okowa and Co. So people are not deflecting based on ideology. They are deflecting based on personal interest, fear of being prosecuted, and they will be covered. Definitely.
Right. I'll call Kayode. I have some questions for you from Abuja. Kayode.
Perhaps to just follow up on what you said just previously. What proof or what conviction do you have as a legal practitioner to back up that allegation? Because it's okay to say allegedly, but sometimes so people understand also where you're coming from, the context. Perhaps you have proof and convictions as it concerns the courts to back that up for the benefit of Nigerians.
On the particular character or person I mentioned, Akpabio, like I said, allegedly, and it's been reported severally, that EFCC have a case file on him, even when he was about to be appointed or was elected a senator, and they were screening him for Senate position of Senate President. EFCC came out with they were going to arrest him. So I don't know how that was swept under the carpet. So I'm not here to prove. Hold on. I'm not here to prove. I'm not in a law court. I said allegedly, and I'm quoting. I can defend it based on EFCC's will I say investigation, which was being carried out, and there were petitions from his state. Let us even go to the issue when he was the chairman of NDDC, or what do you call it, Niger Delta Development. He looted that place blue and black. I can say that. Have you forgotten the off the microphone scenario in the Senate when the allegation was levied against him, and he was not telling the lawmakers who he gave contract. I saw that myself. He told one of the lawmakers told them, "It's enough of the speaker. What can be more than that?" Is it only Akpabio? There are many of them there.
Mr. Amirobo, if you can hear me.
I can.
So you said there are others, and it's important to speak in the context. That's why I said, what are the convictions to back this up? Because you can't say someone is guilty until they.
I didn't say they are guilty.
You know that too well. So who? You said in matter of fact. So who are the others that you know about? What is the context? What is the proof as well? So we can lay all the cards on the table.
Well, I have told you, and I maintain that in the National House of Assembly, where you have all the ex-governors that are there, I can say confidently that they are allegedly corrupt, and they have skeleton in their cupboard, and they need to be investigated and prosecuted if this government is serious. But it will never happen. All the ex-governors, all the former, even those who are who have served as, or who are still serving as senators, House of Reps, who are there today, they are also allegedly corrupt. I'm telling you categorically, I won't mention names, but I am telling you categorically that the National House of Assembly is a home for, I won't say, if I use the word criminals now, you will say I've said something that is not allegedly. Allegedly, people who have looted this country. Allegedly, people who are responsible for our suffering today. I can tell you that our suffering today is being caused by the ex-governors. All the ex-governors. Where are all the monies they gave them?
Right.
Like, okay, my state governor, for instance, he is not there. But for instance, he has not been able to account for our revenue derivative allocation every month. He has not been able to. He has not been able to. Our internet generated revenue, he has not been able to account for them for 8 years. He has a case of 1 point something trillion naira on his head right now.
All right, another point. So would you also say the judiciary, as you put it, is allegedly corrupt? The bar, the bench is allegedly corrupt as well? Because we've heard that time and again.
You're correct, because it's not me. There's a report. I can't recall the exact report now. There's a report that said the Nigerian judiciary is fantastically corrupt. I am not saying I said so. There's a report on that. And I'm not saying that there are no good judiciary officers, I mean judges. I'm not saying they are not good, but we have bad eggs, like in every other organization. So the lawmakers, the judiciary, the executive, I say categorically that they no try. Before then,
if in your books, judiciary has a question to answer, the National Assembly has a question to answer, all of these guys have a question to answer, and which is what has brought us here. Some have been convicted, some have not been convicted, some have not been tried, and all of that. What should the citizens do? Because we're the ones that are suffering at the end of the day.
The citizens, of course, which I'm part of, I feel sorry for us because we have been, like somebody said, that we've been hypnotized. We're in trouble because our votes don't count. If after spending 100 billion, 900 billion,
no, not up to that.
Then as at that time for the last election,
elections.
yes,
about 300.
No, billion.
Yes.
Okay, 300 billion. And somebody comes to tell me that because of some glitches, we cannot assess our result on real time. Then you now go and start collating. In this modern time, we stand no chance. We stand the electorate, but I will still appeal that they should not give up, or we should not give up. We should pick up our PVC, vote, and defend it to the best of our ability. But we are fighting against we are fighting against our situation is precarious.
All right.
And the only thing that may result is a spontaneous revolution, which is going to be disastrous for us. It's going to be catastrophic for everybody.
Like a literal outlier in that sense of what you did there, just to make your point. But we must thank you for